Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today I have got my May 2021 reading wrap-up. So how many books did I read in the month of May? Well, according to Goodreads, I read 10 books in the month of May. Two of them were on my Kindle, which are the first two that I'm going to talk about, and then the rest, of course, were either paperback or hardcover. So I'm going backwards with this. Instead of going from the first book I read, I'm going to the last book, mainly because the first book I read is way bigger than the rest of the books, and I just don't want it to topple everything over. So there's my reasoning. All right, so and these are the two Kindle books. The first one I read, and it's going to pop up on the screen momentarily as soon as I start to say the title, and that is What Happened at Sisters Creek. And this is by Lee Anderson. Now, this was kind of, if you read it, if you read the synopsis, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of leads you to believe that it's a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch novel. And it's not necessarily that. There is a big, huge creature, but to me, it wasn't a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. This is more a cannibal book. It is about this family, and they go on a holiday or a vacation in the woods. I'm not sure where. I don't remember even what state it is. All I know is the Sisters Creek. Oh, Florida. It's Florida. And they are torn apart by this big, hairy thing, all right? And then you have this sheriff, and the sheriff has to investigate, and the sheriff... The thing that got me about this, I gave this one... what did I give this? I think I gave it 3 stars. The main reason... Actually, or did I give it 2 stars? I think I gave it 3. I think I didn't mark down the right amount of stars. But... it's like, okay, you find out first that the sheriff is having an affair. Then you find out later on that he is selling meth. Then you find out later on that he's kind of corrupt. It's like they just keep adding things on to this sheriff, and you're just like, oh, so you're selling drugs now. Oh, you know, it's like, oh, you're cheating on your wife or whatever. It just seemed like this book added too many things in just to keep the plot rolling. So, I think it's 3 stars. There were some good gory parts, but other than that, I don't know. It was okay. 3 stars. And that's being kind, all right? So, I mean, you could say 2.5, but I'll round it up to 3, all right? Next one's going to pop up on the screen, and this is The Groomer by John Athan. I've got a review up for this one. All the books that I did review in May, I'm going to put the links to them in the description so you can watch them yourself if you want to. This one was about as disturbing as you can get. This is about what it says about a groomer, which is somebody that lures children to somewhere for sexual or other immoral purposes, let's say. I will say this, trigger warning, and I've told you this in the review, but this has got some serious scenes of cruelty to children. I'm talking about torture, murder, just some really bad shit, okay? So you have been warned. But anyway, it's about a groomer who does this, and he takes this little girl, and the little girl's father basically goes on a vigilante death wish sort of thing, singling out child molesters, pedophiles, whatever, in order to get to the people that actually took his daughter. As disturbing as this is, it is so well written. I give it 4 stars. But yeah, again, be forewarned, it's disturbing. Okay, so there you go. And what's funny about it, or what's bad about it, I don't know if it's funny or bad, I do plan to read more John Athan. It was just that good. And I've gotten some recommendations from people. All right. Okay, next up, now we're going into the hardcover and paperback stuff. First up, we got from Nicholas Gray, aka Spooky Noodles, here on YouTube, or BookTube, whichever you prefer. We got The Thing in the Ward, and this is just a little novelette. Nick sent this to me. It's one of those not for resale things, but that's all right, no big deal. He signed it right there, you know. John, thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Nick, thank you, man. This is about a fella, Gavin. I keep forgetting the guy's name. I'm sorry about that, but the guy's name is Gavin. Gavin's got cancer, and one day he is in the ward at the hospital, and he's doing whatever it is they do for you when you have cancer. I'm thinking chemotherapy. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And all of a sudden, there is this thing, this beast, this monster, whatever, in this ward. You know, and so Gavin's got to figure out a way to save not only himself, but also to save this really pretty nurse that he's kind of fallen for. This was an excellent little story. I give it 4 stars. I just had a lot of fun with it. So good story, Nick. A really good one, man. All right, next up. This is my first 5-star rated novel. Well, not my first one, but my first one for this video. And this is Beast of the Caliber Lodge. Again, this is another one that I did review. I give this 5 stars, man. You talk about a fun book. If you are a Bigfoot fan like I am, and you're also a fan of mashups, this is one of the best mashup books I've read. I mean, you got Nazi war criminals, you got Nazi hunters, and you got Sasquatch. I mean, what more could you ask for? This was just fantastic all the way around. All right, so yeah, Beast of the Caliber Lodge. Watch my review for it if you feel like it. 5 stars. There you go. Next one. This one, I gave it 4 stars. I almost gave it 3, but I thought, you know what? It was entertaining enough for a 4-star rating. And this is The Lost Village, and this is by Camilla Sten. Translated by Alexandra Fleming, and this is translated from Swedish, I believe. Yes, Swedish, I think. Anyway, this is billed as the Blair Witch Project meets Midsummer, or Midsommar, however you want to pronounce it. And it's about this film crew, and they're investigating this village where back in the 1950s, everybody except a newborn and a dead body hanging from a telephone pole or a pole disappeared. And it's got to do with the village, it's got to do with this really charismatic preacher. And I can see where the elements of both movies they're talking about come from. The Midsummer thing, talking about the village and kind of the charismatic preacher and just that right there. And then you, of course, in the present day, things start to go missing. All these kind of little things happen that they have no idea what's happening. They start seeing things. So I can see where the Blair Witch Project came from. Like I said, I almost gave this 3 stars, but I thought, you know what, this is pretty entertaining. I'm going to give it 4 stars. So yeah, that is The Lost Village, Camilla Sten. All right, next up is my next 5-star rating. If you are a fan of coming-of-age novels, and if you are a fan of the whole satanic panic thing from back in the, 70s and 80s, then you definitely need to read Blood in the Woods, because it combines the two of them absolutely perfectly. It's about these 2 friends. Let me get their names right here. Jody and Jack. They are the best of friends. I mean, they are doing things that 12-year-old boys do. They are riding their bikes, jumping ramps, homemade ramps, jumping everything on their bikes. You know, discovering girls for the first time, just getting into all kinds of mischief, just like 12-year-old boys will do. And then one day they're in the woods and they find this, I believe it's a trailer or something, and they find these calves that have been mutilated. And it's something they shouldn't have found. All right, so now you got this cult or this bunch of Satanists or whatever you call it, Satan worship or whatever, on their trail trying to get after them and everything. And these boys have got to stay one step ahead of them. This book was absolutely fantastic. 5 stars all the way. All right, Blood in the Woods. All right, there you go. And I got a review for that one up too. So let me see. Next up, this is going to be my first. Yeah, I did said 3 stars for Sisters Creek, but this one here, Shadow of the Vulture. This one to me is the lowest rated, or the lowest rating I've given to a one of the splatter westerns from Death's Head Press. I just could not really get into the story. I did finish it, don't worry, because I do not review books that I have not finished. I just don't think that's right. I just don't think something you can do. It's just like you can't go see a movie and walk after 10 minutes. You know, you might have walked out and said, well, you know what, I didn't like it, but as far as rating it, I don't think you can do that. So there you go. Anyway, this one is a powerful witch goes to the extreme to save the land. A young woman weaves protective spells into clothing, but what she wants to do most is soar with the vultures. An ex-soldier accompanied by her dead friend looks for another battle to fight and will do anything to make the American invaders pay in the bloodiest ways possible. When they come together, Texas will never be the same. Power clashes between witches, warriors, brutes, and innocents, and over it all hovers the shadow of the vulture. Yeah, this one I just did not do it for me. It just seemed to just stagnate. And I can't really put my finger on why. It's just, yeah, it just wasn't for me. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. It just was not for me. And I know that's kind of lame, but yeah, it was, like I said, my lowest rating for a splatter western book, and I love the series. So overall, I do love the series. All right, next up from Hunter Shea, we've got Bigfoot in the Bronx. Or is that Bigfoot in the Bronx by Hunter Shea. This book is exactly what it says it is. About these two hunters. What are these two guys' names? Shea and Vito. Shea and Vito. They are two typical New York guys, and I'm sorry, that sounded wrong. I shouldn't say that. They're what you would think two New York guys would be, you know, kind of I don't know, but anyway, every year they go hunting and in the Catskills. And every year they have not caught a single freaking thing. Nothing, all right? They have never, ever caught a deer. I said in my review for this, they've never Taylor Swifted a deer. So anyway, they shoot Bigfoot. And they figured this is going to make them rich. They take this big, thinking it's dead. They take it back to the house, put it in the shed until they figure out what to do with it. Well, guess what? Bigfoot isn't dead, and after that, none of the Bronx is safe. I mean, you find Bigfoot at the cemetery, you find him at a funeral, you find him on the golf course, on the playground. He loves children. That's the thing about it. He loves children. I mean, I don't mean he loves to eat them. He just loves kids. And there's a few touching scenes. What really surprised me about this, you think, oh my God, this is a ridiculous title. But there were really some touching and sweet scenes in this book. And that's one of the reasons I gave this book a 5-star rating. And of course, also being a Bigfoot enthusiast, there's that also. So anyway, that is Bigfoot in the Bronx by Hunter Shea. All right, next up, I got 2 more books here. 2 more. Next up, and this is Don't Move. And as you can see by those spider webs, you can imagine what this book is about. And you would be right. You open it up here, and there's these little spiders right there like that, all of them crawling all over the place. And then this big one right here. So yeah, if you are an arachnophobe, I'm just telling you right now, don't read this book. Anyway, it's about this church group that decides to go on like this little getaway or whatever, and they find this supposedly undiscovered area where I'm not sure where they are. To be honest with you, I'm not sure where they exactly are. I think it's New York. Anyway, one of them she's been through a tragedy. At the very beginning of the book, her husband and her little boy are killed in this freak accident. And so they go just to get away from it all and enjoy nature and everything. And wouldn't you know it, there is a giant spider, and this thing starts to pick them off one by one. What did I give this? Don't Move. I gave it 3 stars. You know, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was entertaining enough to put it right there in the 3-star level. I did have some fun with it. So there you go. Finally, last but not least, I read the, I know this wouldn't be a novel, it's a screenplay, and this is the screenplay for The Witch. I give it 5 stars just on the basis that I'm a huge fan of the movie The Witch. I know that's one of those movies where everybody's kind of divided on it. You love it or you hate it. That's okay if you did. But I'm just a big fan of it, so I try to collect a few little things back and forth on it, and I got this from A24 Studios. And also, I'm a big fan of Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she is a fantastic actress. I kind of got a crush on her. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I even had a dream about her one time, and wouldn't you know it, even in the dream, she took out a restraining order on me. But anyway, that's beside the point, all right? Anyway, that is it. That is The Witch screenplay written by Robert Eggers, also the director. And that's going to do it. That is my May 2021 reading wrap up. I'm going to post this tomorrow, Friday. And until then, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye.